Yo, what's up, Russ Polio? Set up mesh. How's it going, man? Today's gonna be kind of a short stream since I don't have much time tonight. But yeah, I'm trying to just get some of the stuff from last project moved over. Basically what we'll do here, as you can see, this is I'll start with VBO. And in a mesh we need to include no worries that you were late, man. It's 5 a.m. here. Do I go to sleep? Or stay up all day? Dude, go get some sleep. It's not gonna be a long stream anyways. I'm only doing this for about a half hour tonight. How's it going? It's going good. I have been busy, of course, but I'm working on basically getting all of this logic that's in our main put into classes and objects so that we don't have to so that we can reuse it and also that it's more organized. So this will be bind buffer. This will just be buffer data. Okay, and then bind buffer, element array buffer. Yo, by the way, I remember you saying that you wanted to start using Vim or a text editor like that. Are you thinking of doing that soon? I think so. It's pretty daunting. Like I think it's a pretty big transition, so I might start with Vim motions on like VS Code first, and then probably move over to Neovim. I need to do one thing at a time, so I'll probably do that as I get everything mostly set up for this. Okay, so I just use Emacs. It's easy. All the stuff with the Vim motions and that seems like a huge transition. Yeah, I might look into the different options. I think Neovim makes the most sense for me as I'm like with all the plugins and all that, but we'll see. Bind buffer object. Okay. I'm just making sure that I'm doing this right, because... Oh, gotcha. So this would be size of vertex. And this would just be a reference to vertices. Then we have our bind buffer, ABO, and then we also need to do the indices, so the same thing for indices. Okay, and then we have our position attribute. so I think that's pretty much the mesh setup, which we'll learn about more in the future chapters. But I mean, good thing is it won't be too crazy. So we'll use the vector of vertex vertices, vector of Alright, hoping that's right. I don't know if I have the right syntax for the constructor, but let me look. Oh yeah. Okay. Not too shabby, not too shabby. So we got our constructor set up. I think our destructor, C++, typical destructor example. Our destructor just calls delete, I believe. So this would just call mesh. Oh yeah, this would just probably call okay, so this would just call our delete. Okay. Should be good for that. So now basically it'll delete, it does the cleanup for us. That looks pretty good. And then our next big method here in mesh is gonna be draw, which creates our let's see. I know this chapter's quite far ahead, but at least let's just get it out of the way. So our texture is actually just gonna be a struct. Never mind. Alright. I'll be right back. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna see if I can keep streaming for a little longer. I'm gonna stream for a little bit longer because it's been really fun actually. Oh yeah, I need to check Twitch. I don't know if I haven't been on there. I'm back. So yeah, we have a texture struct. We store the ID of the texture and its type and diffuse it to, okay. So our mesh class, we have vertices, indices, textures. Okay. And then draw is going to use our shader. Gotcha. Okay, so not too complicated. As you can see, the class isn't too complicated. In the constructor, we give the mesh all the necessary data. We initialize the buffers in the setup mesh function. Okay. We also call the setup mesh function in the constructor. Oh, gotcha. Okay. That's not too bad. Obviously, I can't do too much with the draw yet. So obviously, I think, well, we'll have to get our shader class again. So draw, and then this is just void mesh, and then this takes a shader object. Okay. All right. Okay, so that kind of answers the question of how we set up our mesh. I guess the tricky part now is like I guess we can have this, leave this for now and try and just set it up in main normally. Until we get it fully corrected. So, yeah. I think the next goals are, we are just gonna kind of make before we start including stuff in our main class, we're gonna try and get something rendered inside of yeah, so I think the biggest thing is we probably want to try and get like a circle rendered that's yellow essentially, so that we can have a sun. So now that we have all the basic initialization stuff set up, I'll just put like, now we create a set of vertices for the sun object. Which you can just call this float sun, because it's just okay. And then we also want our indices. So we're gonna have to basically create a rectangle, put it in the center of the screen, and then create a radius and discard every other pixel inside of the radius we set, so that it'll render as a circle. So indices for sun object. And then basically this will just, since it's taking oh, I see, 1, 2, and we're skipping over 2, it looks like, because that's our alpha value, I believe. So our sun is going to have 2 vertices for a circle OpenGL. Build a circle out many thin triangles. Do you want the send? Yes. Okay, so here are vertices for a quad centered at the origin, roughly 1/3 of the screen side and radius. Okay, so okay, and then our indices. That gives you the rectangle to work with. Fragment shaders, where you'll discard the fragments outside the circle radius. Okay, that makes sense. And then basically, this is where we could probably just, yeah. Let's make a simple sun, and then just export it as a PNG. So you can just do like a 32 by 32 pixel. Yeah. And we can literally just do like a simple circle. So I'd say the best thing we can do here, we can just do like a kind of a orangey hue on the outside. Yeah, that's good. There we go. There we go. Okay, so let's also turn on our grid. This is really dumb, I'm kind of just drawing a circle, but whatever. I could probably just use the symmetry tool. Alright. I just want like a basic circle. Kind of like this. I honestly don't know. I'm just gonna draw a stupid sun. This is really bad, but I really don't care at this point. Alright. I'm just gonna leave it at this, probably. I know it's not even. Export. No, I just want to do a PNG. Sun. Alright. That works for now. What am I doing? I'm making a solar system type of simulator. But the first thing I'm doing is I'm just making a texture of some sorts to test this out. Yeah, it's literally just a sun, as you can see. It doesn't really look like a sun, but it works for now. Let's see. So we have our indices. We could probably just do. So I'll show you what we have so far. I mean, right now we have a black screen, and the goal is to draw a circle, like a sun in the middle, and then eventually we'll add other like planets basically that orbit around it, so like the solar system. And I guess the way that I'm going to try and do that is just one thing at a time. So I'm first going to try and get all of the planets statically drawn, and then I will create a uniform of the textures to then orbit around the sun itself. So we'll have the sun be like a texture coordinate that all of the other objects that we will create can just orbit around. I think I might end stream here soon though. But let's make a to-do actually. So, also Coppermeister, I don't know if I've seen you in here before, welcome. So we need to go into we need to create our shaders. Vertex.glsl. Basically what we're doing right now is setting up a shader so that we can pass our vertex data through it and have it actually do stuff with that vertex data. And also the which for now we don't need. And then our fragment shader basically handles the colors, which is great. So if we go into our fragment shader, it's basically the same thing. Our frag is a vec4, which has 4 elements, which are our RGB and transparency values, or our alpha value. We're going to input our vec3, our color, which is basically going to be what's our color that and then 2D is just going to be our first texture, so I'm going to just call this sun texture. And then void main. And then we basically just want to say frag color is equal to texture of sun texture, and then text board. Yeah, seems right for now. And then in main, we need to set up our texture. So we got our texture set up in that way, but now we need to do one sec, guys. Yeah, now we need to actually load them. So we're gonna obviously go through and encapsulate all of this logic outside of main eventually, which I think we learn about that in a future lesson with Learn OpenGL. But right now I'm just trying to kind of create my own version of what we were doing before. Like we wanna essentially make what we did here. Let me see. So this, you can see here, this is what we did last time with our tutorials. So we got our blocks rendered, and they're in a 3D space, and you can see that they're like rendering separate from each other. We also got a camera that moves around. What we're trying to do now is basically render a sun object in the middle of the screen with the texture that we defined. And then eventually we'll have more objects, like more planets, like Earth or whatever, that will orbit around it. And that's kind of like the main consensus of what we're going to practice. Hi, I just found the stream, Visha. Welcome to the stream, Visha. I appreciate you being here. Right now we're learning a little bit about OpenGL and graphics programming using C++, and yeah, it's been really fun actually. I feel like I'm starting to get the hang of how this stuff works for sure. So the first thing we need to do is generate our textures, which we only have one texture, so sun texture, and then basically we'll just handle whatever our sun texture is. So we'll do glgen texture, and then add sun texture, and then we need to bind it, and then basically that is a gl texture 2D, and then this is called sun texture, and then basically we need to set the option for what our texture, how our texture is going to be wrapped slash I guess filtered on the object. So we have different options, but we just want to basically repeat the texture across the entire vertex or the entire vertex data that we defined. So honestly, right here we could just do something like basically just do this. GL gen textures. Oh, this is gen textures. And we can honestly just copy this part because it's kind of arbitrary to just type it all in again. And then, oh yeah, we need to do the filtering now, which is basically we're just going to say, hey, this is going to use linear for our min and mag filter. And now we want to load our image, create our texture, and generate maps. Which basically this is the part where we load our sun picture in. Take the sun picture, turn it into like readable code for for OpenGL to know how to read using a library called I think it's STBI. Yeah, STBI. And that will basically make it so yeah, we can just load any image onto the object that we made. So, which I actually think what I'm going to try before I continue, I want to go into this and let's add our sun PNG into here and test this. So container, let's do sun.png and then we'll make it. Okay, so that didn't work. Could be the file, I don't know. Let me look at that. I'm not sure. It might be that I need to define how many pixels it's able to read, because it could be that it only, like the texture that it's loading is a certain pixel. Let me look this up. OpenGL load load 32 by 32 sprite. Pointer arguments. Okay, so I guess that might not matter as much. And since we only have one, this makes it so that whenever our texture loads, it loads in the proper orientation and not like upside down. And then this is our data that we set using the STBI library, and then this would be essentially taking our file path. So res, I guess it would be res and then textures. I guess it's in shaders. Yeah, this is probably good. Thank you guys for subbing. I appreciate all the support. Oh yeah, if you guys are new here, feel free to join the Discord. It's been growing and it's been really fun. If you guys have questions or anything, feel free to ask. Yeah, I just put it in the chat and I'll pin it. So now we have our oh yeah, and then this, after this we do the width, height, and then the number of channels. And then 0. Okay, so that makes sense for that. And then we need to basically say if it doesn't load properly. Oh, we need to do our bitmap. So text, image, 2D. Our bitmap basically maps all of the coordinates from each texture coordinate to the proper coordinate that we define in our shaders. And it just kind of pulls a lot of random. Oh, I think I know why this didn't work before. We had it set at RGB, which it should be RGBA. So if we take our Minecraft grass and do sun.png again, and then instead of RGB, it should be RGBA, I believe. Let's try that. Might have been this one. Okay, yeah, so it worked. And you can see that it's just like a cube right now because our corners on our texture are transparent, so it just replaces it with black. But it literally looks like a Minecraft lantern, which is so funny. But a PNG file has the 4 values, which are the RGB, and then the alpha value, which is a transparency value. And so yeah, we had to define that it was RGBA. And then zero RGBA geo. And then geo Man, I feel like that goes by so fast. Okay. And then basically that says if our data is correct, then else we're gonna failed to load sun texture. Okay. Oh yeah, and then after that we do s2bi image free, and then this is just the image data or the texture data. Okay. Oh yes. Now we need to tell OpenGL which texture unit belongs to each texture belongs to, which we just use shader.use, Which, honestly, we could just take our shader class from here. Now that basically just handles all that, which is great. We also need to define here our shader itself, so okay, yeah, so our shader, we are gonna load, actually we're gonna load that right after, so our shader is a shader object, and then it takes 2 parameters inside of its constructor, which this is just our res shaders, and then this is going to be vertex, and then also we're going to have solar sim res shaders, and then fragment GLSL. So now we have a shader object, which we need to come up here and then shader. There we go. Okay, so now we loaded our shader, and then we need to basically say, hey, shader.use, and then we need to also do shader.setInt, and then this will take our sun texture and set that to 0. Okay. Now we are very close to getting our actual object drawn. We just need to actually go up here to this part again. And then we'll just copy that for now. And like I said, all of this logic will be covered in its own, it'll be taken care of inside of its own class later. And vertices is not going to be vertices, it'll just be sun. And then this will be sun indices. Keep it up, bro. You got it. Hey, I appreciate you dropping in and leaving a comment. Ladielson, I think I said that right. Ladielson. Thanks for dropping in the stream. I appreciate it. So we got our sun indices. This is also our sun indices. I know this isn't like the proper way to do it right now, but it's fine. Sun vertices. Or this is actually just sun. Okay. And now inside of our main loop, we can go down here. And we should be able to, we need to load our shader first, so we need to do it would just be shader dot. No, we already loaded our shader, so we need to do this will be triangles. And then we have 0 through, how many positions do we have? I'm gonna say 4. Oh yeah, and then at the top here, we also need to set our active texture. So this is going to be sun texture. Okay, so nothing rendered quite yet. Let's see why our why my sun object load on the screen. I'm almost at 240. That's crazy, guys. You set up an EBO. Oh, it's draw elements. Okay, gotcha. That's right. And then this will be GL triangles. Oh wait, what am I doing? Okay. Uh, 3 points per vertex. So, oh, and it's loaded with a leading slash. So instead of 5, I think it's just 3. Oh, no, I see. Yeah, so this just has our positions, not our textual coordinates. So now we need to change this back to 5 because we have our X, Y, and Z, and then our textual coordinates. So we're getting there. Vertex and shader. You declared a text coord as vec3, but texture coordinates are 2D. Oh, okay. Hey, look at that. Okay, so we got our sun drawn. It looks really bad. Like really bad. And I'm pretty sure for this we just need to change this from linear to nearest. So this basically just makes it sharp, like yeah, there we go. So now we just want to kind of make it a little bit smaller. So how do I make it smaller? I think I just need to make the coordinates a little bit more spread out. Yeah, so okay, now we have a sun in the middle, which is like very simple, obviously. I kind of liked it the size it was before, so we'll just set that back. And then, as you saw, so we have our sun here. It's super ugly, I know. Now we basically can just start drawing objects around it that are circling it, that transform using a uniform. But honestly, I think I'm going to cut it there tonight. We got a lot done. Got sun drawn on screen. Alright. We did a good little program today. We got most of our OpenGL stuff set up in a new program that we will then also continue to encapsulate more of that logic into objects and classes. So a lot of this loading, you know, we're not going to hard code all these values forever. This is just to kind of get something working that we can then move into something else later. But we got a sun drawn on the screen in the middle. The next goal is to get like an earth, well, maybe to draw a line, like a circle. We can set a radius and draw a line. I'm going to shrink this down a little bit, which probably easiest to just transform it using a uniform and scale it rather than setting the points individually. But I mean, let's see if we find all references. We can just change these all to point like 2 for 2. There we go. That's a little bit better. So, yeah. Hope you guys were able to understand a little bit of what we did today. If you guys are new here, please feel free to sub. Also, join the Discord. It's in the description as well as in the chat. I'll be back tomorrow to kind of keep working on this. But I think tonight I'm going to stop here because I've been working. I did a little bit more than I thought I was going to do today. Thank you guys for your support. Have a wonderful rest of your night or day wherever you are. And yeah, I will see you guys soon. Thank you.